I've not bought a football game in years. I find them to be the most frustrating games ever made, and any game that causes me to throw a controller in rage and make me feel like shit just isn't worth it, which is exactly what PES made me do. With football games, I've always found the defending to be lacking. It feels like you're relying on the AI to keep their man marked and play the offside trap, which to PES's credit it does when it wants to, but we'll come on to that later. PES is just much more fun when you're on the attack. In football games you want to bag goals, don't you? Not sit around at the back marking a man. Your options are pretty limited when you're defending, since you can only control one player or send a teammate to try and tackle someone. Other than that, you can't really command your team. Like I said, you have to rely on the AI, so it turns into you switching from player to player like,
"You fucking dick! Fucking leave it, you fucking gay!"
The AI in question can be really smart when it wants to be. It makes runs for you and feels like a real football team. But the opposing AI leans too far in the smart direction all too often, to the point of cheating. It feels like it's reading your fucking mind. It reacts the moment you press a button, not when your player reacts. There's points where they have the ball and no matter what you do, you can't get possession back. Any successful tackles results in the ball going straight back to them, or the tackles the AI instantly reacts to and manages a lightning quick dodge. Then if you do get the ball back by some miracle, the AI's defenders will outpace your striker and do a perfect tackle to get the ball back. I mean, look at this shit here. This is Real Madrid versus a 1.5-star team, and the defender is keeping pace with Ronaldo. A good football game would have Ronaldo being able to outpace this twat every time, and the player on the opposing team would have to adapt to that. It feels like there's someone operating a switch in the background like, "Oh, it's your turn to score now," and all of a sudden your team gets quicker and more intelligent, and the opposing team AI leave convenient holes for you to exploit, and it's painfully obvious. I should say this is on the higher difficulties. On the lower ones it's like the switch is in your favour all the time. And the ref, oh, don't get me started on this twat. The AI practically mugs you for the ball and obstructs you all the time without any consequence. But if you slightly brush a player, he comes along like, "Oh no, we can't be having you getting the ball back, can we? Yellow card." Online is pretty much the same, except there's lag and input delay to contend with as well. Again, you can really tell when it's your turn to do well and when it's the other player's turn. Here's the thing with football games, they're not designed for skill. They are insanely popular, and I hate to use this word, but a lot of casual players and kids buy them. You can't have 12-year-old Timmy losing constantly, can you? Because he will get frustrated and trade it in, and Konami wouldn't want that because then he's not going to purchase the microtransactions. So here's where I go conspiracy theory and say there's clearly systems in place in these games that ensure you're not winning or losing too much to keep the right level of addiction. All of this shit I've mentioned just made me feel like I wasn't actually in control of what I was doing. It wasn't skill that got me that 40-yard screamer. The game just allowed it to go in because it was my turn. PES does have all the components in there though, which is why it's even more annoying. It controls great and just feels right when playing. The AI does have the intelligence to back you up. There is an amazing football game in here, but the systems in place that gimp you and the opposition to create tense matches just ruin it. A true skill-based football game will never be invented, sadly, because it would have to be pretty complex and that won't sell to a wide audience. It's got the looks where it counts as well. Animations look great, apart from certain players who run like that gay lad from school. You know the one who everyone knew was gay but he just kept denying it. Getting all the licenses in is easy enough with just one download to a USB stick. I'll leave a link in the description for that if you actually want to buy this. Like I said at the start, any game which makes me feel like shit and angry isn't worth it, since there's many games out there that make me feel good. So I found PES 2017 to be the absolute pits.